Hello everybody, this is Kyle from CSJ Props. I'm going to do a review here on a hilt I just picked up recently. This is the Romans Props Inception Saber. This is based on the Obi Wan Revenge of the Sith hilt, and it's one of the few sabers that I've always wanted to own a very good copy of. It's harder to find. You don't see too many of these in the market. There have been a few people that have tried doing them, and they've gotten close, but really doesn't seem like too many people were hitting the mark very well with those. As a quick disclaimer on this, first of all, I don't usually do reviews like this. I usually stay away from reviewing other people's products. I just don't really think it's fair. But because this saber is kind of important to me, and because I've been wanting one of these for like 10 years now, I'm just so happy to have it that I kind of want to show it off, and I want to talk about it a little bit. Nothing I say in this video is meant to be a slight to Roman by any means. He did a phenomenal job on this thing. It's a great piece of work. Keep in mind, everything I say is also based on how picky I am about this particular saber model. Because I've been trying to find the perfect one for so long that I'm a little critical about this, so I take it with a grain of salt. First off, I want to talk about the coloration on the saber. The chrome is beautiful. It's very nicely done. The brass neck and the copper are really, really, really great. They look fantastic. A couple things I didn't like. The finish on this, I've heard a couple people mention this as well on a couple other reviews that I've seen recently. It's a little bit of a matte finish on the grenade section and on the booster. And I feel like those should have been a more glossy finish. I have the scale replica of this saber as well, and it is more glossy on the replica. So the machining is gorgeous on it. I don't really want to do anything with the finish. I don't want to have to redo it because it's just so nice as it is. But I am considering having it done again in a gloss just to match the screen use prop a little more accurately. Couple things. This has a pommel cap on it to give you a static look, so it looks just like the screen use prop when you're not using a soundboard or anything like that with it, which is removable. And it also has this cap here, which is sound vented for it. Now, personally, I wasn't a huge fan of the sound venting that was done on it. It's okay, but I would have rather seen some sort of a pattern done instead of, well, I guess, okay, it's a pattern. For those guys out there that I know that are friends of mine that are smartasses, they're going to call me on this. It is a pattern, I get it, but I would have liked to have seen a more stylized pattern than just the holes drilled through it like it is. Something a little nicer, like some of the inserts we've seen from places like the Custom Saber Shop and that sort of thing, just to give it a little more style. So it's possible that I may change this at some point, or I may find another way to vent the sound so that it's hidden. I'm not sure just yet, but we'll take that as it comes. The chroming on it, like I said, is really nice. Even on this piece, it's beautiful. You can see how shiny that is, how pretty it is. Roman did a great job on the machining on these. The threading on this is really nice. Threads in very smoothly, very evenly. Goes in nice without any problems. It doesn't catch, doesn't grab. It's nice and clean threading. So I'm going to start at this end and work my way down. The pommel cubes. They are nice, and it is very well machined. However, I feel like these cubes should be more rounded off. The screen use prop has a bit more rounded off edges, a little flatter on the cubes than these are. So I don't know. I may change that at some point as well to get this as screen accurate as I possibly can. It also means that because of the edges, you get a little bit of a rough edge at the odd spot. It's not bad. It doesn't hurt, or it's not sharp. It's not like some that we've seen out there, where it's the kind of saber where you're going to cut yourself. It's nothing like that. It's just that it is a little bit not quite the finish I would have liked to see. Again, I'm not complaining here, guys. This saber, for the price it is, this is just an amazing piece of work. Let's go to the CoverTech knob. CoverTech knob is flat, like you see here. That is screen accurate. It is supposed to be like that. It is not supposed to be recessed. It's not supposed to be contoured to the hilt. It is supposed to be mounted exactly like it is. And Roman got the spacing out perfectly on this as far as making sure it's exactly across from the greeblies on the side. It is right where it's supposed to be. However, it is plastic. So I may be changing that out for something made in aluminum and anodized to match the booster and everything else. I would like to see something, a little more solid. I don't like plastic CoverTech wheels. Not that I'm going to really be hanging this thing on my belt and walking around with it, but still, me being all about the accuracy and whatnot, I know the plastic is technically accurate to the prop as well. I just don't like the durability of them. I'm always afraid I'm going to break a plastic CoverTech wheel. So I'll probably be changing that out at some point. That brings me up to the greeblies here. These are beautiful. These are really nicely done. These are threaded. This piece does thread out. Both of them do, though the threading on the copper piece is a little loose. And I know I actually spoke to Roman about that. He said it was a matter of the materials and the type of threading being used on it. He actually purposely left it a little loose so it could be glued in place if need be, but still be able to be removed right now as is. And I know the copper's soft, so when you're threading in and out of these parts, it's very easy to strip a thread on those. So for getting the real copper piece, I'm okay with this. I'm happy with it the way it is. Because I'm going to probably do something with that with regards to kill key or access auxiliary switch or something of that nature anyway. Now, that brings me to the clamp card. Clamp card is a plastic type material. It does slide out. It does come out of here. It's a little stiff. You just gotta kind of work it out a bit. The way the box is formed, there is a notch inside of there that keeps this kind of wedged in place the way it should be, which is nice. A nice job on his part for making some sort of a mechanism to keep this card in. I would like to see this card replaced with probably a metal card. This is like a vinyl type material with a sticky back on it. I'm not a big fan of the look of it. It's a little bit bigger than the box is. It just slightly overhangs. So I'm probably going to have a custom one made for that. You can get custom brass cards cut specifically to size. So I'm going to get a hold of a guy about that and probably get that taken care of. Or I may go with the Sloth Furnace card, which he's offering as well, which are just gorgeous. So that's a great option for replacing that with as well. If you want to go for as screen accurate as you can get, and like, this is a unicorn saber, so man, I'm willing to put money into this to make it exactly the way I want it. You can see here the machine screws holding the box down and the hole for switch wires to be run through there. I will be putting my switches in the box, most likely, so that's good, because I'm going to want to try and hide them under the clamp card as much as I can. I guess I got to flip this around to get it to slide. There we go, to get it to slide in properly. So, moving onward. The grenade section looks great. I've got nothing to say about that at all. The machining is awesome on this. The edges are nice. You're not going to cut yourself on this. It's very well done, very well cleaned up. There's no rough edges on this. Roman really went all out on this, the machining on this saber. I cannot say that enough. That brings me into the neck section. So we've got the brass and the copper neck. This is all threaded together. These pieces do all come apart, and the finish is gorgeous. It does tarnish very easily because it is natural and it is raw material. So it takes a really great polish, though, as you can see. Cleans up really, really nicely. You just got to keep it clean. You got to take care of it. You could probably do a clear coat on it of some sort if you want. I've chosen not to. I don't want to dull the finish. If anything, I'll let it actually oxidize a little bit on its own and let it naturally weather if I really feel like it. But I'll probably be in there polishing this thing constantly, making sure it's clean, because I just love it so much. That brings me into the emitter section. Now the emitter has, as you can see here, a collar built into it that's your heatsink. Okay, this emitter unthreads. That comes out in the middle. It's actually attached between the emitter section and the copper portion of the neck. And it's kind of sandwiched in there. That's what keeps it solid. Now, I like it. I like the design. I like the way you did it. It works for making this very solid. The threading on this is very, very solid and very long, so you're not going to have any problems with this. I would never duel with this saber, but it is built to last. It'll hold up, at least fairly well. Much better than some that are prone to snapping. The only problem I'm having with the with this emitter piece, with this heatsink, is that it sticks up. You can see it actually sticks beyond the edge of the emitter here, so you can't put a flat blade plug in here. You can't put a cap in here that's going to make it look static when it's sitting on the shelf. So I may be cutting this piece down a bit. I know it's left a little longer, probably for blade retention, to give you a little bit longer of a section here to keep that blade solid in place when you're using it. But I'm probably going to shave that down just a bit so that I'll be able to get a cap made that I can put in here that when it's on display, it'll look just like the static prop. So, you know, give and take, guys. You want to get the unicorn, you want to get it perfect, you got to give a little. These things just, when they were designed for the movies, they weren't thinking about us. They weren't thinking about electronics. That's not what they're in it for. So certain things with designs just weren't considered. So that being said, Roman had to do what he had to do to get this thing electronics ready, and he did. It's great. It is hollow all the way through. There is space. In here, you've got couplers that hold these pieces together, threaded couplers. They do limit your space a little bit, as it does kind of cut down. Sorry, I think they're actually, yeah. Anyway, there's 2 couplers in here, and it shrinks down the diameter a little bit. So that's going to make it a little bit tricky for chassis and for putting electronics in. Doable, for sure. There's plenty of room. But I'm going to have to sort something out for a custom chassis probably to slide into the right pieces in this to make it fit where I want it. I like the way he did it because by using the couplers he did and threading them the way he did, if you line them up properly, all the parts line up in the direction they should. So you've got your grenade section lined up with the box like it should be. Your cover tech, your greeblies are in the place where they should be, exactly as you want them. And it's actually a really, really great way of doing it. Not necessarily how I would have done it, but hey man, I can't argue. He did a great job on this, and it's solid. That threading is holding well. The parts feel very solid in your hand. The Saber doesn't rattle, doesn't flex. It's done really nicely. So there is one last thing that I skipped over, and that's with the control box. You see here where the card slides in to the control box. On the screen use prop, 2 things. This edge is normally beveled on an angle on the screen use prop. So on here it would go on an angle on either side. And then there's a black insert here that looks on the screen use prop like it's attached to the card itself. So it's actually a little bit of a downward box cut in. That's the only thing accuracy-wise that I can really find that's missing. Everything else is pretty much here. I think he's really covered it. So really, guys, for the cost of this Saber, I mean, they're just, it's fantastic. You will not find another one like this for this price that's electronics ready anywhere. I strongly recommend it. Gabe did a great job on these. They're just gorgeous, and I'm happy to have this as part of my collection. I'm going to be doing a couple installs on these. I got one for myself and one for another guy that you'll be seeing some interesting stuff in. I've got a few surprises, I think, with one of them coming up. So, you know, keep your eyes open, and I think you'll like what I do with it. It'll probably be a first, definitely special. So, anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Sorry for rambling on so much, and see you around Saberland.